Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Premier Injuries Daily Roundup. We're speaking ahead of Game Week 4, and we've only heard from four managers, their press conferences on Thursday, but we have had a host of Carabao Cup matches from Tuesday and Wednesday night, so one or two updates with regards to those. I'll start off with today's press conferences though, and Jess Marsh, we've heard from the Leeds boss, obviously on a great run and excellent form, and primarily he discussed the possible return of Patrick Bamford. He picked up a minor groin issue. Now he is training slightly with the group, but there won't be any definitive answer on his potential return this weekend. Jess Marsh will leave that to the last moment. However, what he did say, he mentioned that the performances of the team are making it an easy decision with regards to not having to rush Patrick Bamford back. And I'm thinking primarily the form of Rodrigo. Scored in every round this season. He's this week's FPL most transferred in player. By the way, I've had him in since game one when his ownership, I think, was less than 1 or even 2%. It was well over 20% last time I looked. So I wouldn't expect certainly Patrick Bamford to be pushing for a start. Maybe an outside chance of making the matchday squad. Otherwise, we're pretty much as you were. Liam Cooper did return on Wednesday night in the Cup. He played 45 minutes in that win there. He's had an Achilles problem since before the pre-season programme began. Elsewhere, Brendan Rodgers, Leicester City. Obviously, no surprise to hear the Leicester boss say that Wesley Fofana is not in contention. Of course, he's been heavily linked with a move to Chelsea, who've bidded, have had 3 separate bids refused by the club. Fofana is training with the under-23s as it currently stands, and he isn't in contention. I suspect that won't change until at least the transfer window closes, if indeed he still is in that Foxes squad. Elsewhere, James Maddison. Now, he had what Brendan Rodgers referred to as a small niggle or an issue in training on Thursday. That's a muscular problem. Now, he will be assessed and a decision on his involvement won't be made until Friday. So that's a late fitness test for James Maddison. Could be a big blow. The Foxes have been struggling massively. They're heading to Stamford Bridge. I think they're sitting in 19th for XG this season, and the only reason that they've managed to pull any results out the bag and get goals, really, that's down to James Maddison. So that could potentially be a massive blow for the Foxes. Scott Parker at Bournemouth. Dominic Solanke, he's missed the last couple with an ankle issue. Nothing too serious, but again, he's expected to train with the squad on Friday. So a decision with regards to his involvement, that'll purely come down to match fitness or that little bit of sharpness and whether he's going to be in and around there. Obviously, they've got a massively tough game at the weekend, and they're coming off the back of that heavy defeat to Arsenal 3-0 at the Vitality. Elsewhere, Jamal Lowe, he's recovered from illness. And when asked questions with regards to David Brooks, of course, he's a long-term absentee. He's recovering from cancer. He's in remission. He's building his way back up to full fitness. Now, the Cherries boss was reluctant to put any kind of timeline on his return, but what he did say, he wouldn't completely rule him out of the possibility of being involved in the World Cup for Wales in the winter in Qatar. So that's great news there. And finally, for Thursday's press conference, Ralph Hasenhüttl, he confirms that Roman Perron has recovered from a groin issue. He wasn't ready for the cup tie against Cambridge earlier this week, only returned to training on Tuesday, looked really good on Thursday, and could be in contention. Again, that's going to be a late decision. But after losing on that opening day to Tottenham, Southampton now have went 3 games unbeaten, back-to-back victories, and again the performances probably make an easy decision for Ralph Hasenhüttl. Now, a quick roundup of some of those Carabao Cup ties and injuries. We'll start with my hometown club, Newcastle. Matt Targett played 45 minutes at Tranmere. That was always going to be the case. That was planned. So he came through that unscathed. That was a hamstring issue there. So he should be in contention this weekend. Now, the issue comes around whether Dan Burn can recover from that concussion in time. Of course, he took a blow to the head against Manchester City. Now, protocol means that he would be available if he comes through each phase of that recovery process. However, like I say, it's 50-50 at the moment. And if Eddie Howe doesn't want to take any chances, then Matt Targett can easily slot in there as a like-for-like replacement with Sven Botman, playing alongside Fabian Shaw. Now, club captain Jamal Lascelles, he took a knock to the face. Initially thought that it was a suspected broken nose, but Eddie Howe doesn't believe it's that serious. There was blood, what he reported was coming out sporadically at different points during the game, and therefore could not continue, but they don't think it's anything more than a heavy nosebleed. However, Emil Kraft, that does look a little bit more serious, picked up that lower leg injury during the first half, around about that 39th minute. Stretch it off. Eddie Howe said he was in a great deal of pain, so that didn't look great for the Newcastle fullback, so we wish him well. Elsewhere, we heard from Steve Cooper about Jack Colback. He wasn't involved again midweek. He's been missing for around about 10 days now because of an illness. Now, Steve Cooper said he has been back on the training pitches, training, but not fully. He's still feeling the after effects of that problem, so he isn't back up to full speed. And again, if he was to push for that Forest squad, then I suspect any involvement would come from the bench. But like I say, there's big question marks with that just because of the severity of that problem. Fulham, Marco Silva, he welcomed Joe Bryan back into the Fulham squad. That's the first time since the fullback has featured this season after breaking a metacarpal or bone in his hand during a pre-season programme. He played around about 70 minutes and was withdrawn. As far as I'm aware, there wasn't any kind of setbacks. That was purely a fitness concern. And everybody else is pretty much as we were. One thing to mention and note, because I know Ivan Perisic is garnering a lot of interest within the community. This was something that was mentioned post-match last week by Alistair Gold. Highly respected and great for those inside Tottenham updates. Now, he mentioned that Perisic appeared to be limping towards the end of last week's game. Now, it didn't appear to be the same issue that troubled him from his time at Inter Milan, that calf problem. He noted it was the other leg and a little bit higher up. Of course, we haven't had anything official from the club, but we're coming into a back-to-back game week, and Perisic may be one of those players, particularly with Ryan Sessegnon being fit and playing so well as he did at the start of the season. You know, there's possibility of rotation risks there. Of course, Perisic spent the summer sidelines, just got himself back up to full fitness, and with the quick turnaround between games, then Antonio Conte may look to manage his squad and have that little bit rotation. So something for you to bear in mind. But of course, we will have press conferences, or 2 press conferences ahead of game week 4, and then quickly on to game week 5. But as always, you can follow my timeline at Ben Dinnery or at Premier Injuries. And we always have the Premier Injuries table at premierinjuries.com. See you all again very soon.